I have been married for 14 years this month, and I thought it would be very fitting to share with you 7 things that I never do as a Christian wife. And I think this is important for every single person if you want to have a healthy, strong, good marriage. So let's dive right in. Now, for those that are new here, welcome. My name is Stephanie, and I'm a mom to 3 amazing children, and I love being a homemaker. So I share about biblical homemaking and biblical motherhood on this channel. So if that is something that you're interested in as well, I would love to have you here as a subscriber. But today I wanted to share a little bit more about a marriage and how or what are some things that I never do as a Christian wife that keeps our marriage healthy and strong. Now, the first one is extremely important, and that is to never talk negatively about your husband. And even though there might be some things that are bugging you, never ever talk about it with other people. Don't talk negatively about him, but talk to him about some things that are bugging you. Talk about it with your husband instead of with other people. And I've seen this over and over again, where women have like girls' nights out and they will talk about their husband and they will tell, oh, my husband never does this. My husband never does that. Or I really hate it when he does whatever. And the complaining is really detrimental to your marriage. So never do that. Don't complain about your husband. Not to other people, not to your family, especially not to your kids, but also not when you're alone. Don't complain about him and just talk about him instead of talking with him. So if there's anything that is bugging you about your husband, that can happen, but talk about it with him instead of talking about him with other people. Now, the next one is kind of a fun one, and that is I never stop trying to do my very best for him. And that is mostly in how I look. I don't ever want to go with greasy hair, sweatpants, and being like sluggish for my husband, and that he comes home and he sees me like that. No, I want to look my very best for him. I want to try and look as if we are going on our first date. And that has been my motto ever since we got married. I want to look good for him. Now, whenever my husband comes home, I really want him to think, wow, she did her very best today, and not think, wow, she looks horrible. And I'm not saying that he ever thinks that, because I honestly don't think he does. But I just want to put my best foot forward, and that is something that I can intentionally do every single day. And every day it is a choice to say, okay, I want to look great for my husband, so I'm gonna put some extra effort into how I look. And that could mean that I put on his favorite dress, or I put on some extra makeup even though I don't feel like it, or just looking decent, basically. So never stop trying, and always think about, okay, I'm going on a date with my husband today, so I need to look good. And it doesn't mean that you have to wear makeup, you don't have to wear dresses, just wear the thing that makes you feel comfortable and that you know that your husband will love. Now, the third one is I do not expect him to do anything that is my job. And as a woman, my job is to take care of the family, to provide food, to clean the home, to be a good homemaker, etc. So I don't expect him to do that. And the key word here is expect. Can he do that? Obviously he can. If he wants to do the dishes, then he's more than welcome to. I love it when he does that, but I don't expect it from him because it is my job. So that is something that I take care of. Now, that doesn't mean that I have to do everything myself. There can be people around you that help you with certain things, but it is my responsibility. So I don't expect him to do the things that are my responsibility. Now, the fourth one is extremely important, and that is never stop praying for and with your husband. So praying for your husband can mean that while you do your laundry, you pray for your husband. You pray for his safety. You pray in your quiet time. You pray during dinner, while you prep dinner. There are so many moments during the day where you can pray for your husband, but it's also important to pray with him. So have a moment. We love to do this before we go to bed, and we make sure that we end the day together, we pray together, and we just spend time together in prayer. And that is extremely important. It is important to have moments where you grow with the Lord yourself, but you also want to grow together as a couple. So pray for him, but also pray with him. Now, number 5 is I do not want to take for granted what he does for the family. And that means that I never take it for granted that he goes out every single day and he goes to work, he provides financially for our family, but also what he does for the children when he's not working. So when he puts the children to bed, or when he goes out for a walk with us as a family, it is so easy to just take for granted everything that happens. And that goes both ways, obviously, but specifically when we talk about being a Christian wife, it is really important to thank him for that every once in a while, to just say, honey, I'm so grateful that you go to work every single day and that you provide for our family. I'm so grateful that you did the dishes today. I'm so grateful that you took out the trash. Whatever it is that he does, tell him that you're proud of him. Tell him that you are very thankful for what he does, because it is very important to always look from a lens of gratitude instead of expectation. So do not take for granted what he does for your family. Now, the next thing that I never do as a Christian wife is put the children before my husband. And I think this is a very important one because especially as mothers, we can get so sucked into motherhood almost that we do everything for our children and we kind of leave our husband like on the side. And whenever we have time for you, we'll get back to you. And that is not okay. Your husband is important. That is the person that you are going to spend the rest of your life with. That is the person that is going to do life with you. So don't push him aside because your children need you. Yes, of course, your children need you, but make sure that you never put them in front of your husband. So make time for your husband, give him your attention, make sure you look good for him. Don't say, oh, well, I have children, so I cannot take a shower, so I cannot be intimate with my husband. No, you can totally do that. You're just not making the time for it. So do not put your children in front of him, even though, like I said, they do need the attention. But there's a difference between attending to their needs or putting them in front of your husband and never making time for him. So make sure that you have a good balance where you take care of their needs, but you also take care of what your husband needs, because your husband needs you too. So don't forget about your husband. That is what I'm trying to say. And then lastly, that is actually a fun one. We never skip date night. And this is important because it is very easy to just go with the flow and to just do life and to forget about having a specific moment in your week where it's just you and your husband. So we never skip that. And it doesn't mean that we go out to eat every single week because it's not in our budget, but it does mean that there's one specific night every single week, and usually it's a Friday. But if something happens on a Friday, then we just move it around, because there is definitely going to be one night in that week where it's just me and my husband and we just spend time together. So we eat together. Sometimes we have a meal just with the two of us. The children eat before us. They go to bed and then we have a special meal at home. Sometimes we just watch a movie. We drink wine and talk on the couch. Whatever it is just important to have a special day, so to speak, where it is really focusing on your husband, because it is so easy to do a lot of things that are just kind of away from each other. So your husband is doing this and you are doing that, and you're not really focusing on each other. Even though you might be in the same house, you're still doing your own thing. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's important to have one night where you're doing the same thing together, just to have that date night and to do something fun. And when your children are older, you might be able to go out for a walk and to really get out of the house. For us, our children are young, so we cannot really leave the house. We don't have a babysitter, so we stay at home, and it is just as valuable. It doesn't have to be going out of the house. It is just important to spend that time with your husband. Now, I really pray that this is helpful to you, and I really hope it is, because what I really believe is important in today's day and age is strong marriages and a strong family. So focus on your family, focus on your home, but focus on your husband as well, because he is important. He is very important, and you are actually going to spend the rest of your life with him. So do not forget about your husband. Now, if there is something that you do as a Christian wife, let me know down below, because I love to learn from you, and it's really good to help each other create strong marriages. So don't hesitate to let us know down below, and I would love to see you in my next video, and do not forget to subscribe.